What if I told you the greatest threat to your health after 65 is not what you think? It's not just heart disease or cancer, not even memory loss. The real danger is something quieter, something that creeps into your days without warning. The small habits you ignore, the shortcuts you take, the pills you swallow without question. Picture this: an American kitchen table at sunrise, bottles of vitamins scattered across it, a half-empty fast food bag nearby, a silent house with no one around. For millions of older Americans, this is not fiction, it is daily life. And here lies the clash, the choice that will define the years ahead. Decline or resilience, loneliness or connection, weakness or strength. But here is the hope, the spark you need to hold on to. The science is clear, the stories are real, and the future is still yours to shape. There are 8 simple habits that can turn the tide, 8 choices that can protect your mind, your body, and your spirit. They are not about chasing youth, but about embracing power, the power to live each day with clarity, energy, and meaning. Stay with me until the end, because what you will discover here might not only add years to your life, but also life to your years. Number 1. Use vitamins wisely. Avoid the dangerous ones. One of the deepest fears for adults over 65 is the possibility of unintentionally harming health while attempting to preserve it. Walking into any American pharmacy or big box store reveals shelves filled with vitamins and supplements claiming to boost energy, sharpen memory, or even slow aging. For many, these promises sound comforting, but beneath the bright labels lies a sobering truth. Not every pill is safe. Some can quietly chip away at health, increasing risks instead of reducing them. At this stage of life, when the body is more sensitive to both nourishment and toxicity, safe supplement use becomes not just helpful, but essential. Scientific evidence makes this clear. The National Institutes of Health published findings that high doses of vitamin E, once thought to protect the heart, can actually raise the risk of hemorrhagic stroke by thinning the blood too much. Similarly, excess vitamin A has been linked to decreased bone density and higher rates of hip fractures in older adults, a devastating injury that can change the course of independence. Beta-carotene, promoted for years as an antioxidant, was proven in a massive trial of more than 29,000 smokers and former smokers to increase lung cancer rates instead of lowering them. Even vitamin B6, generally considered safe, can damage nerves when taken in high doses over long periods, leading to tingling and weakness that mimic serious disease. The lesson from decades of research is simple. More is not always better, and sometimes more can be dangerous. At the same time, deficiencies in certain vitamins are alarmingly common in older adults. A Harvard study revealed that nearly half of people over 65 have insufficient vitamin D levels, which weakens bones, increases fall risk, and impairs immune defenses. Vitamin B12 absorption declines with age as stomach acid production decreases, and low levels can cause fatigue, confusion, and even irreversible neurological damage if left untreated. Calcium, especially in those who avoid dairy, may be inadequate, leaving bones fragile. Omega-3 fatty acids, essential for heart and brain health, are often lacking in American diets despite strong evidence from the American Heart Association showing they reduce cardiovascular risk and support cognitive function. These nutrients are not optional extras. They are cornerstones of healthy aging. The safest and most empowering approach is to measure before taking. A simple blood test, often covered by Medicare as part of an annual wellness visit, can identify where deficiencies exist. Armed with accurate information, supplements can then be used as targeted tools, not blind guesses. A physician or dietitian can determine whether vitamin D supplementation of 800 to 1,000 IU daily is appropriate, whether vitamin B12 should be taken orally or by injection, or whether calcium intake should come primarily from diet with supplements only if needed. Omega-3s can be enjoyed by eating salmon or sardines twice weekly, with supplements added if dietary intake is insufficient. Consider the story of Martha, a 70-year-old retired teacher from Pennsylvania. For years, she bought a dozen different supplements after reading articles online, spending hundreds of dollars each month. She felt no better, sometimes worse, with frequent stomach upset. Finally, after a conversation with her doctor and a series of blood tests, she discovered she was only deficient in vitamin D and B12. She stopped all unnecessary pills, focused on these two, and within months, her energy improved, her bone scan stabilized, and her wallet was heavier. Martha's story is not unusual. It is a reminder that health comes not from quantity, but from precision and wisdom. The positive truth is this: the right vitamins at the right dose, guided by medical evidence, can strengthen bones, preserve memory, and protect the heart, while the wrong ones can create hidden harm. The simple but powerful habit is to stop guessing. Test first, consult second, act third. By doing so, every supplement taken becomes a deliberate step toward living not just longer, but better. At 65 and beyond, health should be built on knowledge, safety, and balance, not on empty promises from a bottle. Choosing wisely is an act of self-care that safeguards the gift of independence and vitality. Number 2, move your body every day. A car that sits idle in the driveway slowly rusts, its battery weakens, and its parts stiffen until even starting the engine becomes a struggle. The human body after 65 is not much different. When movement stops, strength fades, balance weakens, and independence slips away one small piece at a time. The truth is that inactivity ages the body faster than the passing years themselves, while daily movement, even in modest amounts, is the closest thing medicine has ever found to a true fountain of youth. Research leaves no room for doubt. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention reports that adults over 65 who engage in just 150 minutes of moderate exercise per week, only about 20 minutes per day, reduce their risk of heart disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes, and even certain cancers. Equally powerful, regular activity lowers the risk of dementia by improving blood flow to the brain and stimulating growth factors that protect neurons. In one study published by the Mayo Clinic, older adults who exercised at least 3 times per week had a 30% lower risk of cognitive decline compared with their sedentary peers. The body and the mind are partners, and both thrive when movement becomes a habit. Movement at this stage of life does not need to resemble the intense workouts of youth. Gentle but consistent activity matters more than intensity. A brisk walk to the corner, gardening in the backyard, climbing the stairs at home, or dancing in the kitchen to a favorite old song all keep muscles engaged and joints flexible. The goal is not to run marathons, but to maintain independence, to continue carrying groceries without strain, to bend down for a grandchild without fear of falling, and to rise from a chair without assistance. These are the victories that define dignity in aging. Consider the story of Harold, a 74-year-old former machinist from Ohio. After retirement, his days grew quieter and his body grew still. Within 5 years, climbing a single flight of stairs left him winded, and he began using a cane. At his doctor's urging, he joined a local walking group that met 3 mornings a week at the town park. At first, he could only manage a single lap around the track, but slowly, step by step, his endurance grew. Within months, he walked a mile with ease, set aside his cane, and even joined his granddaughter for a community dance event. Harold did not reclaim the strength of a young man, but he reclaimed something far greater: confidence, energy, and the joy of movement. Equally inspiring are studies showing how quickly benefits appear. Johns Hopkins researchers discovered that sedentary adults over 65 who began light exercise programs noticed improvements in blood pressure, balance, and mood within just 8 weeks. Exercise is not merely about preventing future illness. It creates immediate rewards. Better sleep, sharper focus, reduced anxiety, and a brighter mood often appear within days of consistent activity. The practical first step is to choose one form of movement that feels both safe and enjoyable. Walking for 10 minutes after breakfast, stretching gently before bed, or using a stationary bike while listening to music can serve as gateways. For those with limited mobility, chair exercises or water aerobics provide safe, joint-friendly options. The key is consistency. The more often the body is invited to move, the easier and more natural it becomes, building momentum toward a healthier tomorrow. The message is hopeful and clear. Daily movement is not punishment, but freedom. It is the freedom to live independently, to travel, to play, and to continue shaping one's own story with strength and grace. At 65 and beyond, every step taken is not only an investment in health, but also a declaration that life is still meant to be lived fully. The choice to move today ensures the ability to keep moving tomorrow. Number 3. Eat with reverence, rather than convenience. Imagine walking into a doctor's office 10 years from now and being told that the food choices made in everyday life were the single most important factor shaping health. For many adults at 65, this conversation is not in the future. It is happening right now. The body carries decades of meals, snacks, and habits, and those choices are written into the bones, arteries, and memory. Yet the hopeful truth is that it is never too late to change the story. Nutrition at this age can still reverse risks, strengthen defenses, and bring back vitality, but only if food is treated not as fuel of convenience but as medicine, memory, and meaning. Science has confirmed again and again that diet is the foundation of healthy aging. A landmark study published in the New England Journal of Medicine followed thousands of older adults in the United States and found that those who followed a diet rich in vegetables, fruits, whole grains, olive oil, and fish reduced their risk of heart attack and stroke by more than 30%. This is not about fads or restrictions. It is about nourishing the body in ways that reduce inflammation, stabilize blood sugar, and protect brain cells from decline. The Mediterranean style of eating, which mirrors many of the home-cooked traditions familiar to American families of earlier generations, consistently shows benefits for both longevity and quality of life. Food also carries powerful emotional meaning. Many seniors recall the taste of home-cooked Sunday dinners, family picnics, or recipes passed down for generations. Returning to these traditions can be a source of both comfort and health. Preparing fresh meals at home allows greater control over ingredients, reduces hidden sodium and sugar, and reconnects individuals with the joy of cooking. It turns eating from a rushed necessity into a daily ritual of care. In contrast, relying heavily on processed foods, frozen dinners, and fast food not only harms the body, but also steals the sense of dignity and enjoyment that meals are meant to bring. Consider the story of Linda, a 68-year-old grandmother from North Carolina. After losing her husband, she often turned to fast food because cooking for one felt lonely. Over time, she gained weight, her blood pressure rose, and her energy sank. When her daughter encouraged her to join a community cooking class for seniors, she rediscovered the joy of preparing meals. She began roasting vegetables, experimenting with herbs, and inviting neighbors to share simple dinners. Within months, her blood pressure improved, her weight dropped, and her evenings were filled with laughter around the table. Linda's transformation reminds us that food is never just about calories. It is about connection, both to health and to one another. Practical steps can make this shift simple. Start by filling half the plate with colorful vegetables, choosing whole grains like brown rice or oats, and selecting lean proteins such as chicken, beans, or fish. Replace butter with olive oil, swap sugary drinks for water or tea, and save sweets for special occasions. Farmers markets, common across small towns and cities in America, provide affordable and fresh produce while also creating opportunities for social interaction. Even cooking once or twice a week and storing leftovers can reduce reliance on processed foods. The positive message is clear. At 65 and beyond, Every meal is an opportunity to either burden the body or strengthen it. Eating with reverence means treating food as a gift that sustains not just the body, but also the spirit. Choosing fresh, nourishing, and intentional meals is an act of self-respect and love. By turning away from convenience and returning to mindful nourishment, the future imagined in that doctor's office becomes one filled with resilience, joy, and years lived with clarity and strength. Number 4. Keep your mind alive through learning. When Janet, a retired teacher of 70 from Vermont, packed away her chalkboard and lesson plans, she assumed her days of learning were behind her. She spent the first months of retirement watching television, doing crossword puzzles, and slowly drifting into a routine of sameness. Yet one day, after forgetting the name of a neighbor she had known for years, fear struck her heart. She worried that her mind was fading, that her sharpness as an educator and storyteller was slipping away. Instead of giving in, she made a decision. She enrolled in a community college class on art history, something she had always loved but never had time to explore. Within weeks, her energy shifted. She woke with anticipation, read with curiosity, and found herself sharing new insights with her grandchildren. Janet's story reflects a timeless truth. The brain, like a muscle, grows stronger when it is challenged, no matter the age. Science confirms what stories like Janet's reveal. Research from the Alzheimer's Disease Research Center at the Mayo Clinic shows that older adults who engage in lifelong learning reduce their risk of dementia by nearly 30%. New learning stimulates the creation of synaptic connections, strengthening the brain's ability to adapt and resist decline. This process, called neuroplasticity, does not end at 50 or 60. It continues into the 90s for those who keep their minds active. Just as exercise builds muscle and preserves independence, mental challenge builds resilience and protects memory. Learning does not need to resemble a return to school with heavy textbooks and exams. It can be as simple as picking up a novel outside of one's usual genre, learning a new language with an app, practicing the piano that once gathered dust in the corner, or joining a local book club. Each of these activities stretches the brain beyond its comfort zone, forcing it to adapt and grow. Even social engagement, having deep conversations, debating ideas, or teaching someone else, serves as a powerful mental exercise. Studies from Harvard School of Public Health found that older adults who taught or mentored others not only preserved memory, but also reported higher life satisfaction. Consider another example, Thomas, a 76-year-old Navy veteran from California. After years of structure and duty, he found retirement strangely empty. A friend encouraged him to take a computer class at the local library. At first, the keyboard felt foreign and intimidating, but soon he was emailing family, creating digital photo albums, and even writing short stories about his years at sea. What began as a simple skill became a bridge to connection and creativity, keeping his mind agile while giving his memories new life. The practical steps for keeping the mind alive are both simple and joyful. Choose one area of curiosity and dedicate a small, consistent time to it each day. Set aside 20 minutes to read something thought-provoking, sign up for a lecture at the local senior center, or listen to a podcast while walking. Libraries, community centers, and even online platforms now offer endless opportunities for affordable or free learning tailored to older adults. The key is not perfection, but persistence. The hopeful message is this: aging does not mean fading. It can mean expanding, exploring, and embracing knowledge in ways never possible during the busy years of work and family. At 65 and beyond, learning is not about preparing for exams, but about preparing the spirit for joy and resilience. Every new word learned, every page turned, every skill attempted is a declaration that the mind remains alive, capable, and curious. The choice to learn each day is the choice to keep the doors of possibility wide open, ensuring that life remains a story still being written with wisdom and wonder. Number 5. Practice gratitude every day. Every culture across the world has taught that gratitude is a key to contentment. From the prayers whispered in churches across America to the simple blessings spoken before meals, gratitude has long been seen as a way to steady the heart. Yet in the rush of modern life, and especially in the quiet years after 65, gratitude can easily be forgotten. The days can feel dominated by what is missing rather than what remains. Friends who have passed, youth that has faded, and abilities that are not what they once were. But when attention shifts from loss to appreciation, the entire experience of aging transforms. Gratitude becomes more than a word. It becomes a medicine for the mind, body, and soul. Scientific evidence underscores this ancient wisdom. A study from the University of California found that adults who practiced gratitude regularly reported lower levels of stress hormones, better sleep, and stronger immune responses. Another long-term study published in the Journal of Gerontology showed that seniors who kept a daily gratitude journal experienced fewer symptoms of depression and had higher levels of optimism, even when living with chronic illness. Gratitude does not erase pain or eliminate challenges, but it changes the brain's focus, training it to notice the small joys that might otherwise go unseen. This truth becomes powerful when applied to the individual story. George, a 78-year-old retired firefighter from Illinois, found himself drowning in grief after the loss of his wife. Every corner of the house reminded him of her absence, and each day seemed heavier than the last. At the encouragement of a support group, he began keeping a simple gratitude notebook. At first, the entries felt forced: a warm cup of coffee, the sound of birds outside his window, the smile of a neighbor. Yet slowly, the practice reshaped his outlook. Within weeks, he began noticing beauty again: the laughter of his grandchildren, the comfort of his favorite chair, the pride of knowing he had lived a life of service. George admitted that the sorrow never fully disappeared, but gratitude gave him a reason to rise each morning with hope instead of despair. Practicing gratitude does not require grand gestures or elaborate rituals. It can be as straightforward as pausing each evening to recall 3 things that brought comfort or joy. Some people choose to write them down in a notebook, while others speak them aloud during prayer or quiet reflection. Even the act of sharing gratitude with another person, thanking a friend for a phone call, or acknowledging a kind word from a stranger, reinforces the positive shift. For those who feel overwhelmed by loss or loneliness, beginning with the smallest details, such as the warmth of sunlight through a window or the taste of a favorite meal, can open the door to a new way of seeing. The message is both clear and uplifting. Gratitude is not about denying hardship. It is about balancing hardship with recognition of the good. At 65 and beyond, life may bring challenges, but it also offers countless small blessings waiting to be noticed. Choosing to practice gratitude daily is choosing to fill the mind with peace, to strengthen emotional resilience, and to discover joy in the ordinary. Every thankful thought is a step away from bitterness and a step toward living with grace. The habit of gratitude ensures that no matter what changes, the spirit remains anchored in hope and abundance. Number 6. Build community and connection. Mr. Rogers once said, "We live in a world in which we need to share responsibility. It is easy to say, it's not my child, not my community, not my world, not my problem. Then there are those who see the need and respond. I consider those people my heroes." These words carry special weight as life moves past 65. While independence is treasured, connection is essential. Loneliness is not just an emotion. Research shows it is as harmful to health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. For older adults, the difference between decline and resilience often rests not only in personal habits, but in the presence of community. Scientific studies have shown again and again that isolation shortens life. The National Institute on Aging reports that socially isolated seniors face a 50% higher risk of dementia, along with increased rates of heart disease and depression. Conversely, older adults with strong social networks live longer, recover more quickly from illness, and maintain better memory. Community, whether built through family, friendships, or civic groups, acts as both protection and inspiration. This truth reveals itself in countless stories. Frank, an 80-year-old widower from Michigan, fell into the quiet trap of watching television day after day, waiting for the phone to ring. Months passed in near silence until one afternoon he decided to attend a senior center coffee gathering. That single decision opened doors. Within weeks, he was playing cards with new friends, volunteering at the local library, and joining a walking club. The transformation was not just emotional, but physical. His doctor noted improved blood pressure and steadier mood. Frank often said that what saved him was not medicine, but people. In American towns and cities, opportunities for connection are everywhere, though they sometimes require courage to take the first step. Churches, libraries, veterans associations, community gardens, and volunteer organizations welcome older adults with open arms. Technology, too, has created surprising avenues of community. Video calls, online classes, and even social media groups allow seniors to stay connected with family and meet others who share their passions, whether it is photography, history, or gardening. What matters most is not the size of the group, but the sincerity of the bonds. Even one or two meaningful friendships can lift the weight of loneliness. Building community does not only benefit the one who joins, it enriches others. Sharing wisdom with younger generations, mentoring, or simply offering a listening ear gives purpose. A study from Stanford University found that older adults who volunteered regularly reported higher life satisfaction and lower rates of depression, and the benefits were even stronger when the volunteering involved direct interaction with people. Connection is a two-way street, to receive support and to offer it. The message is both urgent and hopeful. Solitude may sometimes be peaceful, but isolation is dangerous. Choosing to reach out, to join, to participate, is choosing life. At 65 and beyond, community is not only a buffer against loneliness, but a foundation for joy and meaning. The habit to embrace is simple yet powerful. Every week, create one intentional point of connection. Call an old friend, join a club, attend a gathering, or lend a hand to a neighbor. In doing so, the walls of isolation give way to the strength of belonging, and aging becomes not a story of decline but of shared resilience. Number 7. Cultivate stillness. Picture the quiet of an early morning by a lake in Maine. The water is smooth like glass, the air crisp, and the only sound is the gentle call of birds. In that moment of stillness, there is a kind of medicine no pill can provide. For those over 65, cultivating moments of peace is not a luxury, but a necessity. The body has endured decades of stress, responsibility, and rushing. The nervous system craves balance, and the heart thrives when given time to rest. Science strongly supports what the spirit already knows. Studies from Harvard Medical School show that regular meditation, even for just 10 minutes a day, lowers blood pressure, improves sleep, and reduces anxiety. Brain scans of older adults who practice mindfulness reveal increased activity in regions linked with memory and emotional regulation. Stillness does not mean emptiness. It is a state where the body resets and the mind clears. In fact, the American Heart Association recognizes relaxation practices as effective tools for lowering cardiovascular risk. Yet stillness can take many forms, and it does not have to look like sitting cross-legged in silence. For some, it is prayer in a familiar pew. For others, it is the rhythm of deep breathing while sitting in a favorite chair. It may be walking slowly in nature, tending a small garden, or simply rocking gently on a porch as the sun sets. The act itself matters less than the intention behind it, choosing to pause, to notice, to allow calm to enter. Consider the story of Ruth, a 71-year-old widow from Colorado. After her husband's passing, nights became the hardest. Her mind would race with memories, and sleep seemed impossible. At her daughter's suggestion, she began listening to guided meditations each evening. The first attempts felt awkward, but gradually her breathing slowed, her thoughts softened, and she found rest again. Within months, she reported not only better sleep, but also greater patience, and a sense of peace she thought she had lost forever. Ruth discovered what many elders eventually learn. Stillness does not erase sorrow, but it offers the strength to carry it. In practical terms, stillness can be woven into daily life with ease. Begin the day by sitting quietly for 5 minutes before turning on the news. Pause in the afternoon to take slow, intentional breaths. End the evening by writing down a single thought or reflection. Even these brief moments rewire the body's stress response, making the challenges of aging feel less overwhelming. Over time, what begins as minutes of calm grows into a habit of resilience. The hopeful message is simple. Aging brings noise of its own, aches, changes, worries about the future, but within each day, there is always space for silence. Choosing to cultivate stillness is choosing health, clarity, and peace. At 65 and beyond, the quiet moments become anchors, reminding us that strength is not only found in movement or achievement, but also in calm presence. Stillness allows the heart to breathe, the mind to rest, and the spirit to remain steady, no matter what storms may come. Number 8. Live with kindness and generosity. What is the one thing that never diminishes when shared, but only grows richer with time? The answer, of course, is kindness. At 65 and beyond, when many possessions have been gathered and many accomplishments already achieved, it is kindness and generosity that remain as the truest measure of a life well lived. Unlike wealth or status, kindness cannot be taken away by age. It is a resource that becomes more powerful the more it is given. Science offers strong proof that acts of kindness do more than warm the heart. They strengthen the body and mind. A study from Carnegie Mellon University found that older adults who volunteered regularly were 40% less likely to develop high blood pressure over a 4-year period. Research published in the Journal of Aging and Health shows that seniors who give their time and support to others report lower levels of depression, improved cognitive function, and even longer lifespans. Biologically, kindness releases endorphins and oxytocin, the feel-good hormones that reduce stress and promote healing. In simple terms, generosity is a prescription for health. But beyond the science lies the profound human truth that giving restores purpose. Margaret, an 82-year-old retired nurse from Virginia, found herself adrift when her children moved away and her circle of friends grew smaller. She often described her days as too quiet to bear. Then a neighbor invited her to volunteer at a local food pantry. What began as a hesitant 2-hour shift soon became the highlight of her week. She not only made new friends, but also rediscovered her identity as someone who could help, nurture, and give. Margaret often said that volunteering did not just fill her time, it filled her soul. Generosity does not require grand gestures. It can be as small as writing a letter to an old friend, offering a smile to a cashier, or sharing advice with a younger neighbor. It may be checking on a fellow senior who lives alone, baking an extra loaf of bread to give away, or making a phone call to someone who feels forgotten. Each act, however ordinary, creates a ripple of goodness that spreads farther than imagined. In turn, the giver feels renewed vitality, belonging, and joy. In American culture, where independence is deeply valued, it is easy to think of aging as a process of receiving care rather than giving it. Yet older adults hold an immense reservoir of wisdom, patience, and compassion. Choosing to share these gifts is not only a blessing to others, but also a reaffirmation of dignity and relevance. As one study from Stanford University's Center on Longevity noted, intergenerational mentorship programs improve both the well-being of the younger participants and the life satisfaction of the elders who guide them. The hopeful message is this: kindness is timeless. At 65 and beyond, it becomes both a lifeline and a legacy. Choosing to live with generosity ensures that each day carries meaning, no matter how circumstances change. The simple habit to embrace is to seek one opportunity, however small, to give each day. In doing so, aging is no longer defined by what is lost, but by what is shared. A life of kindness leaves behind no empty spaces, only footprints of love that endure in the lives of others. The truth is simple, yet powerful. Aging after 65 does not have to mean decline, weakness, or loneliness. What truly shapes the years ahead are the choices made each day, the habits embraced, and the mindset carried into the morning. We have walked together through 8 habits that science confirms and real stories illustrate. Using vitamins wisely, moving the body daily, eating with reverence, keeping the mind alive through learning, practicing gratitude, building community, cultivating stillness, and living with kindness. These are not abstract ideas. They are practical steps that can transform ordinary days into extraordinary ones, no matter your age. The lesson is this: health is not only found in medicine or doctors' offices. It is built at your own table, in your neighborhood walks, in your moments of reflection, and in the generosity you extend to others. By starting small and choosing one habit to adopt today, you take control of your future. Science shows that these habits lower the risk of disease, protect memory, and increase life expectancy. More importantly, they protect what matters most: independence, dignity, and the ability to live each day with meaning. Now, I want to hear from you. Which of these 8 habits will you begin practicing today? Share your thoughts in the comments, because your story may inspire someone else who needs hope right now. And if you have learned something valuable here, make sure to watch our other videos where we share more lessons on health, mindset, and living with joy in the later years. If you have not subscribed to our channel yet, please subscribe right now so you never miss the wisdom, science, and encouragement we are committed to bringing you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being part of this community. And thank you for choosing to live with strength and purpose. May your day ahead be filled with health, peace, and every good blessing. Thank you for watching.